G'day, how yous all going? This is Ian Harris, Australia, aka Ianapolis, your acrylic guru. Alright, I'm quite happy today because we've got a painting happening on the easel there. I've got my beautiful warm cup of coffee today. It's not a cold one, it's a warm one. Now, I'm painting an eagle as you saw in the opening credits there. And it's going to be a bit of colour mixing and blending and merging. So I'm not using retarder in this one. Alright, that is the size of the canvas there, canvas board. And I'll just pull to the side so you can see the colours going up the screen there. If they're going a bit too fast, just pause them and then write them down and then get yourself ready. And it sometimes doesn't hurt to quickly go through the whole video and work out all the procedures and what's happening and how many cup of coffees we have and how many times we say hello to Steve. Anyway, to get an idea of what's happening, and then you can set yourself up if you want to paint along with this. This ain't so much a beginner's one, but it's just showing you how I would paint this eagle, how I blend and merge the colours using the palette that I have, the colours that I have in my palette. I would have preferred to have Indian yellow, but I went down the shop, I went online, I saw they had it, I went into the store, they didn't have Indian yellow, so I'm going to try and make up my own. I have cadmium yellow, so I've mixed that with Australian sienna and I've got this colour here. Then I added a bit of more Australian sienna to get it this tone again. Then from that, I had the yellow and the Van Dyke brown, and I got this colour here. So they're going to be relevant with the eagle colours. The raw umber, I've added white to get that. I've had Van Dyke brown and yellow oxide to get this. And I've had the Van Dyke brown, yellow green and white to get this here. Now that's the reference picture, and I'm going to do the background black. I won't have it coloured or blurred the way it is in the photo there. And I printed it out and I carboned the outline and the detail onto the canvas board. And I went a bit more with the detail because I'm going to paint it from there. I'm not going to... Sometimes I've had different ways of doing portraits and paintings like this, but I'm just going to start with the beak and so on and so on. So that's why I've put these extra details so I know where to put my tones a bit more easier for the video's sake, okay? Now, from the other day when I looked at the reference picture and I mixed up all these colours, that's why it's good to do this, because now I've gone and I've known what to mix. So I've gone to mix these three first for the beak. So there they are here. I've got this one, the middle one, and the end one. I'm going to start with this little flathead brush, all right? Now I'm going to start with the beak. And I'm going to have to put a couple of coats on this more than likely. I know I've got a line there, I want to shadow that. Because these eagles have a distinct coloured beak. And you want to try and make that come out in your painting. I'm going to see my line under this first coat. I'm not worried about going over the lines. I did a Macau a while ago, and if you were familiar with that video, when you're cutting in the background, it hides all that. So I want to leave that nostril out at least. And that there is where it's going to blend. So we'll get all this main beak done. All under there as well. I'm not worried if I go over that nostril actually, because I'm going to create brush strokes that I don't want. Now I'm going to pick up a bit of the middle colour that I blended just to get the lines in the beak that line. I'm just marking it in here. It's probably just so I don't lose it. Oh my God. The mistakes you do, eh? Look at that. I've gone and made a donkey's breakfast out of it. Let's fix that up. I'll get the other colour again, put it back there like that. It wasn't too bad, was it? See, we all make mistakes. I'll wash the brush, dry it on my paper towel, get that colour again. And I want to get a hint of that thing in the beak, like that. Alright, now I'm picking up the cad yellow and I want to blend some of that into this beak as well. So I've put it on with this brush, just in a roundabout way where I think I want it, like that. I'm going to wipe the brush and then I want to merge those two colours together, because see, they're still wet and tacky and clayey type, and see how you can merge them together. Now if your brush is a very coarse haired one, this one's sort of medium, but I find you would pick up the bottom paint off the canvas and you'll see bits of white under there. You don't want that. Now see how we just did that? I'm just looking at the eagle above. I'm putting a bit here. Put it on. Wipe your brush. And then blend them together. Merge them. Rub them. Massage them together. See what we've done? Just gives the paint a good finish at the end. I'm just finishing off this yellow colour here. Now I want to brighten up a bit more over here. Bit more yellowy. That's it. Place it on there. Wipe your brush and merge the colours together again. It doesn't matter if a painting like this has brush strokes in it. You're not going for a realistic look. If you're going for a realistic look, that's different. Get some more on there. You're doing it in layers, so you can build your painting up. That way it's just not a boring flat beak, you know, it's got charisma in it. Now I'm picking up this colour here. This is what we got going on here, this sort of different tone and shadows under the beak. Get that on there. Lightly do it when you first start, and then you can work out your pressure and the volume that you're going to get on there. You don't want to start a new colour and go, oh, I put too much on, like I did up there with that mistake. If you must make a mistake, it's alright, that just means you need a mouthful of your coffee. Right, so I'm going to blend this now, like that. There we go. Now I want to darken the bottom again, so what I might do is grab a bit of the Van Dyke brown that I mixed with that and mix, see I got it from there, and mix it in a little bit more with that, just to get this a darker value. And that's pretty much darker again. So now I'm stabbing that on, see how I'm stamping it on? I'm not going too violent, but we've got this colour, the one I just put on. Now this one, you don't want to block too much of it. Wipe your brush and bleed them together. Just where there might be some more darker areas. Now I'm going to use that as well for the hole in the nostril. I'm just adding a bit more Van Dyke brown to that other colour I just added, just so as we can get the nostril done. I don't want a black nostril. I just hope my head doesn't get in the way. People don't need to see my head, they want to see what we're painting. I'll detail that nostril later. There's our nostril. I've put some raw umber on the palette, sprayed some water. I've sprayed misty water over that as well, just in case I need to go back to it. It's not going to get a skin on it and dry up. In his beak, so I've got to follow this line very thinly if I can help it. That's getting a bit of detail, that's alright. Come along here. Make sure you twist the paint off your brush if you're not familiar with using a liner. This ain't so much a liner, but I'm giving it a go. I'm just trying to find the... I'm grabbing the third colour I mixed down there just to get this distinct mark in the beak. I'm using this script liner now. Just coming around there like that. They have that distinct pocket in the beak. I'm going to wipe the brush. That was that colour. Now I'm going to use a bit of this colour as well just to make that stand out a bit more. Let's see if this is going to make it stand out a bit. Yeah, that's better. I'm liking the visual look of that. Now we can add our white to the beak. I want to try and finish this beak off. Now use a brush you're comfortable with to highlight it. Pull some of your white away. Get it in your brush. Get it right in your brush, whatever brush you're going to use. You can practice highlights when you're practicing painting and practice what brush works good on certain size highlights. And I'm looking at the reference picture there, so a lot of the top is highlighted. So I want to stamp it on in a way. See what I've done there? I'll stop, wipe the brush, and blend that into the yellow quickly, just so it doesn't look like a big blob stuck on there. And then I can come back and highlight that highlight. So pretty much all around here is highlighted in a degree. I'm trying not to copy it exact because that's what makes things look a bit weird in my opinion. See what I've done there? I've put it on and I'm blending it in. Wipe the brush, blend it in. Now we'll just highlight over that highlight. In distinct areas and leaving it white. Alright, we've finished much of the detail of the beak. It looks a bit weird around here, but once that black background's put in, that'll sit that down properly, okay? Now I've left the picture up there so you can see sort of what's going on as well when I've got some wide shots. Now there's a bit of colour here, while I've still got those colours on the palette, I want to get those ones that I've got mixed up here and start merging that into the beak. So I want to start with the white, and that area that I'm going to do, I'm just going to put white there like this to the eye a bit. We've got some yellow that's got to go back there, so let's not hurt that. And it's going to sort of feather out about there. So that's roughly where I want that colour to go. If I did it just on the dry canvas board, it'll be a bit hard to do. That's pretty much a hard line there. I'm looking at the reference picture to see roughly where it's all blending from. Alright, now I'm going to dance that a little bit into there, just a little bit. Looking at the picture where it's got to go, just like that. I'm going to wipe the brush, pick up the colour that I've mixed for that area, and I want to get this in here. I'm sort of going in a motion like that because in the actual picture I can tell that's the way the little feathers are. This bit's a hard line there. So we're going around like that, and we're going to finish it off out there somewhere like so. Now I'm going to wipe the brush, and I want to merge this into the beak there. See how I was able to get that merged in there? and then this is a hard line. Now I'm going to pick up some more and get some other distinct areas in it done again, because it's sort of the first coat washes itself into the canvas there. There we go. Alright, I've picked up the raw umber to get the darker tone under the eye there. I want to stab it in like so, rain it down, wipe the brush, and I want to bleed that into there, and then I can detail that shadow properly. Out here, in there, and down here. That's pretty good, I'm happy with that. Now that we've just put this colour on, now I'm going to put this white on to bleed it into this. Just that area there. Wipe the brush and get that end and bleed it into that there. So it's a nice transition. I want to put some white on the brush and wipe it, and then start getting some of these little white feathery, very short feathers they are in here. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm using this brush because it's sort of dotty and broken at the end, and I can sort of achieve that bit of a look that I'm going for. How are we all going? We all having fun? Caught up? Enjoying it? I think I'll start with the eye next. It doesn't matter where you start from and where you finish, it's just your preference of order. Like, I'm a right-handed, so I'm going to virtually work this way, but I'd like to put all the detailed areas in and the darkened shadows, so at the end you can pop it with the highlights. So you start from the darker colour. In my head I always like to put those darker colours in, and like I've done with the beak, the highlights are the end brush stroke on it all. So that's why I want to get this eye in now. But keep your coffee going. I've just had to turn the air conditioner on. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's very hot under here. I'm starting to sweat like a person that sweats. So you might notice bits of detail on here changing as we're going through the video. Some of it I'm just doing off camera, but I'm not sort of keeping you in the dark as what's going on, because I know sometimes when I was learning, you're watching a video and all of a sudden, bang, whoa, what happened there? Oh, that got done, and he didn't show how we did that. But that's because when it's getting filmed, you can't always have the camera on. It's a lot of editing. Anyway, but that's why I'm telling you that now. What else was I going to say? Oh, I want to say a quick hello to Lynette Gill. Lynette Gill, how you doing? Ianapolis, your acrylic guru here. Lynette Gill's from South Australia in Maslin Beach. She bought a couple of paintings of mine, or she's in the process of buying a couple of paintings of mine. These two here, that's why they're in the background at the moment. Alright, so let's get some more work done here. Now see the eye, we've got the dark area, we've got the light area, and we've got the iris, okay? So I'm going to get this dark area in and lay this area over the dark area, and then put that one over the light area. And then I'll frame it with this yellow beak colour again there, and a little bit on the top. I've got some black down here. Now, we're going to colour this in black. Now for the eye colour, I've grabbed this and I've toned it down with white. I started there, still a bit dark. Looking at the reference picture, this is the colour we need. So now we want to get this area here nice and round over that black. Don't worry about the inside, just get that area done. All right, there we go. Now the top, I'm looking, the top's got shadow over here. So let's put some shadow in there. I got the raw umber and I just smeared it into the brush, and I want to sort of come across here, get it in there. I'm stamping it on like this because that paint's still wet. I'm looking at the reference and the shadow's about there, coming around about here. All right. Now I'm going to wipe that brush just on a paper towel. Okay, it wasn't very hard, was it? It's probably the easiest part of your paint, and wiping your brush. Now we'll tease that into there as well. Tease it in there. See, these little qualities that you add into your painting, if you leave them out for a beginner, that's fine, but if you take the time, like I said, patience, and put these qualities in there, at the end of the day, you're really proud of what you've done. And get his nice, try and make it nice and round. And not too small and not too big. Try and get that right size. Now to sink that eye back, we've got to put the yellow back in. I'm using the colours that we mixed for the beak. That's why I sprayed them, so they'll stay moist and wet and fresh. There's also a bit right up here. I'm getting the yellow, our yellow over that. Okay, just grabbing our raw umber, coming, yes, like this, over here. It's coming over here as well, to sink that back, around the eye. Now I want it tight against that yellow. What colour was it? Raw umber. And little bits under here. Wipe the brush, shade it down, and get that messed up in there a bit so I can put the white back over it. In here as well. That's why I put those pencil lines in there, so I can capture these shades and tones. This white, tape it into that shadow there. Now just because I'm using this little brush doesn't mean you've got to use that sort. If you're comfortable with this sort or another one, by all means use it. Just want this dirtied into that darker colour now, so it's not so harsh. Going back to this colour here that I made for the eye colour, I'm grabbing that because it's the same sort of temperament under here, all these sort of darky white feathers. So we'll get that under here. And it's just sort of down there like that. Raw umber I'm grabbing again, just teasing it on the brush and coming from under there, and those lines that I've drawn in there, they're sort of what I'm blurring down into. Wipe the brush and get that looking more artistic now, see? Put some white on where it should be. Now we've got to get on with this show. These paintings do take a while. Now I want to get the white all over here. This is all white. Just tassel the edge and bring it down to the rest of your painting there. How we going there? That's sort of sharp. Right against the beak, it's sharp. And against there, sharp. And then that bit's sort of blended. So we'll get this paint on. Now I want to blend this area here so it's not so stark. So I'm getting some of that other colour that we used, dabbing it on the brush and tasseling it near the white there, just like that. Wipe the brush and then merge the two together. There we go. And we'll get all the white on there. Do it in brush strokes. It's a painting. You want brush strokes. It looks beautiful. I like the way the brush strokes turned out in me Macau, and I've seen a few people do a rendition of that video painting, and I love their brush strokes. It looks beautiful. It's what I like about art. Certain things grab you. See, so we got that there. Well, we could fix this up as well where I was showing you stuff. If I get carried away, I can talk for hours. Getting most of this done to a degree here, so I'll come here as well. I'll bring that to there, get the paint off there, see if I can merge that. Yeah. Before that dries, I'll grab that colour again. Which colour was that one? I think it was that one there. And I'll just, no, it wasn't that one, it was the brownie one. I'll just sort of tease that into there as well. Tease it, wipe the brush, and then merge it. Now I'm using raw umber and some of the white to get the shadow in those feathers. See all these dark bits? I'm just using the raw umber for that. You don't want it too dark either, so we're looking for those. Just give them one go, don't muck around with it, just like that. See how easy that was? That's the white bit that I've done. Wipe your brush. Be careful not to rub it all off, but in the same stroke, and then tease that into there, merge it and blend it again. Act like you're an artist and, you know, hold your brush, blend it and merge it. Have fun with your work. Wipe your brush as you go if you feel it's putting too much mess everywhere. And don't worry if it's not looking right, because we can fix it up with the white. Pick up the white again. The top of his head is really white in the picture. Obviously that's where the light's hitting. Now, see this how it looks a bit Dicky Dora. Let's fix it up. I prefer to use a flathead brush here. Get some of this white back in there. Play with it. I'm no expert at this. I just enjoy what I do. I'm not good at anything, but I enjoy doing everything. Here we go, look at that. See, it's just a bit of mucking around, artifying your brush onto the canvas like that. Pretend you know what you're doing and you have fun. Look at that. And if you look at it from a distance, my golly, it even looks better than the photo. All right, let me finish this bit here. I want to do the dark bits as well, maybe first, so I can bring that over the dark. What I'm doing, I'm grabbing my flathead brush and I'm putting the feather details over this white that I put now. Looking at the reference, I'm sort of doing them in the long lines, the way everything is. This has got dark right distinct under there. So see all them dark bits that I put on there, these bits here and these bits here, that's what's going to be these darker points. They're feathered, feathery, see, like that? And it's pretty easy. Nice flathead brush is good for this. This is sort of coming around his mouth a bit. I've got some feathery bits breaking out into there. You don't need a lot of paint on your brush when you're doing this. Feathers are coming out from his eye. How far? About to there. And they're sort of feathered back into that white. See all these? Some of them need a bit more darkness in them just to distinctify them. But try not to get too carried away. I have a tendency of getting carried away with stuff like this. It's like blending a cloud or something. Right under that yellow. Right under there, then sort of spearing down all these different angles. And then we can highlight this with our bits of white. Alright, I'm just going over this white now where the distinct areas of white are sort of everywhere over these little dark areas, just to make them pop. Now before I do all this bottom bit of the feathers here, I want to darken all this now like I said before. Alright, so I'm going to get all this raw umber in. I want to keep this dark under here and then we'll highlight these feathers shoulder here. So just grabbing my flathead brush again. Same brush, I've just put some white on it and see what I'm doing here, just finding that colour. Alright, now I want to just do this on this shoulder. Maybe a bit more there somewhere. Bit here. Wipe the brush. I want that just like that. It's just mainly this shoulder that's highlighted, and then you find you're really kind of abstracting it. We've got dark in now. I'm going to wipe that. Grab the white. And start putting the edges on them all. See, I've never done feathers before, and I suppose it wouldn't have hurt. That'll do. You know what I might do? Grab one of my blending brushes and just blend that a bit. Okay, I'm just using this big brush to sort of tease all this back because I'm no good at these feathers here, but that's going to have to do me. Now getting the white on my flat chisel brush, we'll finish the bottom part of the feathered neck. I'll put the white on first. So using our raw umber and white, we're getting the distinct areas in here for all our feathers and stuff. Just sort of, I'm not copying it too much, I'm just sort of going willy-nilly where I think it would work with it. There's bits here, bits there. I want to blend that as best as I can. Just like that. It's just getting some depth in this white because a lot of white's going to go back over this. I want to get that into there as well because that's going to have white on it as well. Now remember how I had the flathead brush, the little small flathead one, and I did all these little sharp lines? That's what I'm going to do now. And find our sharp, we want to put some sharp areas into this as well. Okay, we're just finishing off. You can see how all these lines work for the painting. Now I washed that brush, and now we want to grab the white and bring the whites over everything where it needs to come. Let it drag and feather up. Some there. We've got some nice that'll do it. Okay, I've pretty much done what I want to do there. Now I'm going to sink this back with the black background, and then once the background is done, we can get some little highlights of the whites and whatnot and just bring over it to sort of sink that back. So let's start from about here. I'm just using black on this one today. I just had to do a wide shot just so it's proving that I've done this painting, no one else. I didn't get a professional in here to do it, I've done it. So, you know, sometimes my paintings can be quite naffy and weak and oh yeah, but I'm teaching aspects of parts of those painting for the beginners, but sometimes I like to do a nice one. I come up here and let's have a look at this beak. And I always like to use a flathead brush because they help sit things down. I'm getting that rough, that's all those feathery bits. We're going to bring that back later. I need something to lean on. Just to come down this beak here. See that I can get right in the corner there and bring that down. Fill this in. I tell you what, I don't know if I told you or not, but this is the fun part of the painting because you know it's all over. Well, you know you're towards the end. I'm looking for that popping aspect, but that's why I like putting black. Makes them pop. Alright, now let's get some white and just put those little bits over that back. So I'm grabbing my thin brush and I can see, you know, there's just stuff overlapping the black here. I want to get it back in there. And you can probably come up here and get some feathers out into the black as well, just to sink the background back. Okay, I'm just darkening up this area here with the raw umber, and I've mixed a bit of black just so as it's not all just one colour. You can see the depth it's putting underneath these feathered mane. That's pretty much it. I'll sign that. Where can we sign it? Just here. Okay. Okay, autograph on there. Let's just see what this one looks like with a frame. Yes, that's not too bad. It looks all right in a frame as well. So we've got our American eagle there with his beautiful highlighted beak and his deep coloured eye with some detail there and a simple background. It's not too shabby. yeah, I hope you followed along and had fun with this exercise, painting this eagle, alright? Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. Share me videos if you love them. And tell a friend. But if you don't like what I do, you tell everybody, alright? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on you!